On Kochie's Business Builders, setting your business up for the future. A real estate agency learns how to put a transition plan in place. Plus, meet the entrepreneur credited with shedding waistlines nationally with his naked approach to eating. And she's spiced up taste buds with her hot sauce. Renee Bunster shares her top tips for business success. Hello and welcome to Kochie's Business Builders. Have you thought about putting a business transition plan in place? You can start transition planning well ahead of time, and it's actually recommended you do that. Having a plan can be useful if unexpected things pop up, such as illness or even death. Early planning can also help maximise the value of your business. So, let's go and meet the Managing Director of K & Burton, Ross Savas. He's wanting to put in a transition plan so there are no hiccups when he eventually decides to step away from the business. This is the home of K & Burton, a boutique real estate agency in the heart of Melbourne. Today, Nick Hadjangeli from NAB is here to talk Ross through his options when it comes to succession planning.
Ross, you've obviously built a solid reputation in the industry. What do you love about your job?
Look, I love all aspects of our job. Really, I love building the relationships and investing in the relationships, getting to know people's families themselves and helping perhaps the grandparents, then you help the children, and now we're helping the grandchildren. So you become part of their family and you become a trusted advisor, and they come to you for all sorts of advice, and you really do become part of the family.
How important is it to have strong relationships like that in your field?
Forget my field. I mean, the world's built on great relationships, and you have to have great relationships in life and in business to move forward. So they're vital.
Tell me about your team that you have around you here at K & Burton.
We have an incredible team of people that make it all happen. For example, I have a great partnership. Peter Kadoka's been with the firm for 36 years. Jill Delaney, our chairman, he's been with the firm for 45 years. We've got people like Gowan Stubbings, Scott Patterson, Alex Schiavo, who really become integral. They run different parts of our business and they do an extraordinary job. My personal office, I have Amanda Cheeseman, who's my executive assistant, runs my life. I call her my day wife, and she's incredible, and she's been with me nearly 15 years. Other parts of my team are Andrew Sahar, Nicole Gleeson, Grant Samuels and Darren Lilberg, who all help me run the top end of the market, and we all contribute together to make this place what it is. So it's a real team effort.
What are your plans moving forward, and how do you put forward a transitional plan for K & Burton?
With the NAB's help, we've corporatised K & Burton, and now we're bringing equity partners into our business. For example, Jamie Mee, who runs our international division, she's become an equity partner. She's incredible. Nicole Gleeson, Darren Lilberg, Andrew Sahar, they're all become equity partners, and it's the transition that we're looking at keeping investing. We're happy to send them overseas, visiting our database, not just us. We're also happy to send them to places like Boston, going to Harvard, to really further their education. So we believe in investing our people heavily.
K & Burton is an 80-year-old brand, top of its field. It's very important that you bring the next level up to the fore so they can take over from Ross and from Peter one day.
It's vital, and it's not about us, actually. It's about our team and investing in our team and helping them over the time and talking, spending time together. I think that's incredibly important. And spending time with our clients, who really, I say clients, but a lot of them are close personal friends now. So Nick, what would be your recommendation on putting a transitional place for a business like ours?
For K & Burton, you'll have to choose, obviously, the right person. And that right person must be given enough time to get themselves in order to buy into your firm. Your firm is at the top of its game. It will obviously take some capital to move into this firm. They must be prepared for that 1 or even 2 years down the track. They must be financially sound and know what they're doing, because obviously they're buying in for the long term. They need to make that decision carefully.
What would you say would be the common mistake most business make when they're, transitioning?
Choosing the right people is number one. Being ready for that transition and thinking about the risks that come with a change. You have an 80-year-old brand that is at the forefront of Melbourne's inner east market. It's important that the next level management, they're the ones that drive the brand, right? It's not just a name, it's the people behind it. So that's why you need to be spot on.
Coming up, how to maintain pivotal client relationships as business transactions. We'll find out from Nick. Have you secured business funding against your home? Well, a new SME growth index has found small business owners resent securing loans against property. Researchers spoke to 1,200 SMEs across Australia with annual revenues from 1 million to 20 million. 91% of them said they'd be willing to pay higher interest rates to avoid securing finance against property. Just 2.5% of SMEs said they'd prefer using real estate as security. 44% of small business owners also say current housing market conditions are making it harder to access business funding. Falling property prices are having more of an impact on SMEs in Victoria and New South Wales.
Hi, I'm Ross Larson from Mara Global Foods, and I love small business.
You're watching Kochie's Business Builders. This week we're meeting one of Melbourne's top real estate agents. Ross Savvis is the Managing Director of K & Burton, which is looking to put a succession plan in place. Not for right now, but it always helps to have a plan in place for the future.
So Nick, how do you see in professional services firms, other firms, transitioning those, vital and pivotal relationships that have been built of many generations?
It's about job satisfaction first of all, but it's about incentivising the right way. And I don't just mean financially, but in terms of having a stake in that business, having something that keeps bringing them back to work for this firm, walking through the front doors, being happy to work in a good brand. So it's about nurturing that and keeping that.
So the culture, you're talking really about culture now?
Absolutely, spot on. It's about the people. It's about its people. Your brand has been successful and you've spoken to it, it's about the people. So you've got to keep the culture spot on.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think people is everything. We're really in the relationship business like you are. And without those relationships, well, we wouldn't be here today, none of us. So I think you're quite right. And the culture is vital, and how you build that culture and how you maintain it, and then how you pass it on to the next generation. And I think you guys do that particularly well. What would be your view on myself putting a plan in place? It might be in the next 5, 10, 15 years that we'll be transitioning this business.
Well, you've built this place, you've built this brand so well. It's not something you can just leave behind. I mean, you want to see it continue into the future. And even if Ross isn't here, you want to see K & Burton succeed still. It's a legacy. And we're not just talking about any sort of brand. You're in charge of 80 years of history. You want that to double. You want this corporate model to work, so it doesn't just stop.
I totally agree, and I think it's important to create that DNA in the next level of senior management so they can understand the brand, the values, and deliver what we've delivered for the last 80 years.
How do you mentor your team so that one day the succession becomes smooth one day if you leave the firm?
My partners and I do a lot of mentoring with the team. For example, I've just taken 6 of them to New York, and we went and attended a course called Inman. During that time, we went and visited senior business people in New York and spent time with them. And what we're really doing is investing the time, introducing them to relationships that we've had for decades and perhaps generations. So we are handing over our relationships slowly and carefully and getting them to understand who our clients are and what our clients require in terms of, the high levels of service. What would be your view on my number one priority of coming up with a plan?
To carefully think about who the next team members are, who's ready, who do I concentrate on mentoring, their capabilities. I mean, you know your people and who can carry out and execute the vision. That is the number one.
So, if you think you're putting a succession plan in place for your business, first, keep your culture in check. A business can easily move through a transition if the culture is not disturbed. Secondly, make a special effort to mentor future leaders within the business. Investing in employees is so important. And think about who can take over early. Being ready for transition is key to make it a smooth one. All the best, Ross. It's never too early to start thinking about a business transition plan. Time now for Pillars of Success, helping you build solid foundations for your small business. This week, we're focusing on sustainability.
This week's Pillar of Success is all about a company's social license to operate. Research shows there's growing demand from Australian consumers for sustainable and ethical business practices. Closely linked to sustainability and the triple bottom line, social license to operate refers to the ongoing acceptance of a company's standard business practices and operating procedures by either its employees, stakeholders, or the general public. Social license to operate is created and maintained slowly over time as the actions of a company build trust within the community that it operates in. Social license to operate is a powerful lens to frame trust. Organizations can no longer view trust as an asset they can buy or rebuild after a crisis, but instead one that must be earned and maintained on an ongoing basis. From a business point of view, building trust with consumers is key. Trust often leads to a loyal customer base that's engaged with the brand and serves as ambassadors. So, how does one demonstrate their social license to operate? It's fairly simple. Show that you genuinely care and that you have a strong ethical foundation to your people, to your customers, and to the environment.
Still to come, the business that prides itself on taking it off. The founder of Naked Foods is next. We think it's time to shine a light on the businesses making an impact, locally, nationally and globally. Together with our friends at Google, we're putting together Kochie's Business Builders Power List. To check out more and keep up to date, head to our website.
Hi, I'm Renee Bunster and I'm the Global President of Bunsters, and we're a food company from Perth that exports luxurious chili products all over the world. Tip number one is know exactly who your target audience is. Is it a mum in her activewear down at the supermarket talking about reality TV? Or is it a tradie who's 28 and gets to spend all of his money on hot sauce and beer? That's who my target customer is. So know exactly who your target audience is, and that's who you need to speak to on social media. Tip number two, once you've worked out who your target audience is, please stop trying to sell them stuff. Stop with the 10% off sale, look at this fantastic product, prices, selling points. Stop it. Actually come up with some content that people want to engage with. Give them something that they'll like, that they'll share, that they'll comment on. And the third tip, once you know who your target customer is and what sort of content they like, learn how to use Facebook advertising. It is the best marketing tool that has ever been invented. And by using Facebook advertising, you can get your product right into the face of your exact target customer. I would strongly advise against using social media or digital marketing agencies because they're in the business of ripping off people who are too busy or too lazy to learn how to do it themselves. And a few weeks down the track, once your contract with them ends, you'll be in the exact same position, except you'll be about $5,000 worse off. So put some time aside to learn how to use Facebook advertising. You will not regret it.
Our next entrepreneur was raised in Brazil and started his naked ambition with stalls at farmers markets. Now, he and his wife are shedding the weight of their customers' diets nationally.
So Naked Foods is all about health foods and whole foods. So we aim to deliver the best health foods and whole foods as we can to the market by providing sustainable produce and dealing directly with farmers. Naked Foods are all about sustainability, shedding the weight of today's diet, and how important it is to constantly provide a product without a packaging and avoid the food wastage. Naked Foods started from a very struggling situation where me and my wife, we had. So we basically were in a cafe where we were trying to deliver health and whole foods to a demographic which wouldn't fit within our ethos. So with that situation, I basically had to go and get a second job. I started working at a farmer's market. We had one market stall. I was selling nuts, dry fruits, which also related to health as well. And that's how Naked Foods basically started. It just took off. So I decided to basically invest a little money into grow into some more stalls at the farmers markets and start targeting areas that we believe would be suitable for the product we're trying to offer to the market. Naked Foods today has become a national brand. So we basically have 21 stores today across New South Wales, Queensland and ACT, and one in Victoria as well. We're always going to go the extra mile to understand how the customers can appreciate a good produce and also how the suppliers can deliver fresh produce into our stores by complying with sustainability, by complying with the farmers that we believe should be also looked after as well. 2018 was a big year for us. We did lots of stores last year with a very small structure. And 2019 for us has been a very great year because we've been able to focus internally and be able to actually understand what our customers want. So at this stage, yes, we dream to go internationally. We dream to grow into a global brand. But at this stage, we really focus on trying to deliver a good customer service, trying to deliver good produce, and basically work in our internal structure to just have a good foundation for the company. I think the biggest highlight is just going from a mom and dad business to actually become a business we are today. Living this business today and be able to come to these stores, visit these stores in different states and see what we have built, it's absolutely phenomenal. The biggest challenge is to be able to grow into a brand by providing what today's society expected. People do want to be way more healthier now. People are more conscious about longevity, more conscious about the planet and how that affects the future of the planet we live today. And I think, yeah, we definitely have hit the market in the right time. So in 5 years, I really want to see Naked Foods across Australia and also going global as well. I think that's one of my dreams. And yeah, be able to provide good food, dealing directly with the farmers and see my brand going global, it's definitely a dream. I'll have no idea the Naked Foods will grow to this size, When you start a small business, basically, like I said before, I never actually dreamed to have a company of this size.
Coming up, word on the street. We ask small business owners what they really think. It's time now for Word on the Street, helping to answer some of your biggest questions. This week we asked, who's been your biggest inspiration?
The biggest inspiration is definitely through travel. Hamish and I, we travel with our wives a bit, but we also travel together. Each year we try to spend some time in a new country trying to, be part of the culture and get that real experience.
Truthfully, I couldn't actually say that I have one source, but I think I'm really lucky to be surrounded by people that are very inspiring.
Empowering people's lives towards making every day healthier. I really do believe in making sure that we provide quality products to people out there, and it gives them the opportunity to just make those small changes in their life.
My greatest inspiration is the great love of my life, which is my wife. We've just had our 18-year anniversary, and she's my greatest happiness and my greatest support.
People often ask me, how do I stay inspired? I think that's just my personality. I just see beauty everywhere, and I want to have that in my life and in my business.
Gunter Pauly was a big inspiration early on, who has written a book about the blue economy, which is using waste products to create new uses. And I recommend anyone checking out the books that he's written.
My biggest inspiration would have to have been David Attenborough.
The biggest inspiration has definitely been my grandparents.
I would definitely say my mother. I was raised by a single-parent mum, and I really watched her work 3 jobs growing up and still come home with a smile on her face and cook us a healthy meal. And I really think, I've got something that I call single mother work ethic, where, I'm always willing just to outwork my competitors, and she's definitely been the biggest inspiration in my life.
I picture a pristine beach and a pristine bit of aqua blue water with no plastics and no pollution, and that's what keeps me going. Yeah.
Coming up this week on Ask Kochie.
My name is Marvin Osifo, and I'm the founder of Face Fashion. It's a fashion events company for new and emerging Australian designers. Started the event in 2006. We've had designers participate in the event from all around Australia. At this stage, our events are in Sydney and Melbourne. We also support and love being around the big event companies in Australia. And we noticed that a lot of those companies have government support and government grant. My question is to Kochie is, how does a company like Face Fashion get government support or government grant for our participating designers and also our event?
Don't miss that Facebook Live discussion on Tuesday from 12:30 Eastern. And of course, feel free to throw me any live questions you might have as well. Coming up next week, should small business owners be paying themselves a regular salary? And don't forget to watch our other show, Bricks and Clicks, where we transform businesses into e-commerce success stories. If you want to sign up to the course, head to the website bricksclicks.com.au.